Welcome to UFC 235 DraftKings episode.
Wow.
I know, I still fucked that up. Like, I don't even know what to do anymore. Welcome to the DraftKings episode, everybody.
If you watched our breakdown for the pay-per-view, you know that we are messing around with the soundboard. And we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. If you didn't watch that, just know that we realized that we can only do one.
You should go watch it. You should go watch it right now.
Watch it after this one. You know that we realize that we can only do one technological advancement per episode. So, like, since we have the green screen up now, I should have never touched the audio. I should have never played with that. That was my fault. One thing at a time, Ryan. Chill out, relax, pull back. Hashtag just saying.
Hey, you're biting off too much at one time.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get graphics.
We nailed this. Let's keep it there.
Yeah, I was trying to get graphics to put up on our pretty videos, but I don't think that was going to work either. So we're gonna save that one for next time.
Hey, there's always next time.
You're like, Ryan, shut up and show me the money. So guys, let's talk DraftKings, baby, because nothing makes the UFC.
Nothing makes you more committed to a fight card than some motherfucking money on the line.
Damn straight. And let me tell you, you start rooting for people you never thought you'd even root for. Even when it's only $5. Even when it's a $5 lineup, $2 lineup, $1, whatever it is. You just start going crazy. You start watching these fights. You start getting more ingrained. I'll remember or never forget, I should say, Pat Barry versus Czech. I talk on the phone for a living, and I'm doing nothing but stuttering tonight.
Slow down. You're talking too fast.
Not the first time I've heard that, or second, third, fourth, or fifth time. I'll never forget the Pat Barry versus Czech Congo fight because I had straight up money on Pat Barry.
I think I remember the story.
Do you remember this fight? Mm-hmm. I had straight up money. He knocked Czech Congo out. Like, knees collapse. He goes down. I stand up. I'm rooting. And Czech Congo stands back up. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he knocks him down again. I'm like, yes, I won it this time for sure. And then Czech Congo gets back up again and knocks Pat Barry out. He went out twice, possibly even 3 times. It's been a long time since I watched that fight. Possibly 3 times. I'm like, yes, no, yes. Oh, God, what the... It was wild, but you get invested. Granted, Pat Barry's an exciting guy regardless, was an exciting guy regardless. But yeah, you get invested when you start throwing some money down, even when it's only a few bucks. It's a ton of fun.
It makes the fight card more interesting, more committed to it.
And let's be straight up too. There's another thing Sean and I are going to try and do. We're going to try and turn $10 into $10,000.
It's a long road.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
I've been writing out some strategies, so I think it's a little too early to talk about that. We're just going to kind of do what we usually do because we always end up on the winning side, or we typically end up on the winning side.
Last 2 DraftKings on the winning side. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to start small. I'm still building out some strategies, doing a lot of research. Dude, oh, my God, That one was insane because I was so far ahead in all 10 of my all 10 of the leagues I was playing in. I was like, it doesn't even matter if Dillashaw loses because I didn't think there was any way he's going to get knocked out in the first. I'm like, he can have a decent fight and lose a decision, and I am so far ahead that I'm going to win this. There's no way that I can lose this. And wouldn't you freaking know it, 40 seconds into the damn fight, he gets knocked out, and I'm standing there with my hands on my head like, what the and TJ, but what the
and I'm saying like,
yeah. Yeah, because actually that was pretty funny because it was a tale of 2 takes because on the one hand, I think you were down in a lot of your leagues.
I think
going into that main event.
I might have been.
I was up. I was like, I'm cruising. I'm going to win this. And then you're sitting there like, damn, man.
I think I remember thinking like Cejudo has to have like, he's got to land a lot here. He's got to do some, he's got to get some points. Because I think I wasn't necessarily out of it. I didn't have to have him win, but I had to have him score some points.
You did. I remember that pretty clearly. So it's pretty funny when you hear that. Because the other thing, too, is you have to gamble. You're always going to have to pick
some underdogs.
1 or 2 or 2 underdogs. I think if you look at each card, you're going to have to pick at least 2 underdogs. And, I mean, best case scenario, that's why, for me, I was like picking who I think is going to get into a slugfest, like Diego Sanchez, for instance, on this one.
That's really what we've talked about a few times. You may not necessarily be picking somebody to win, but you're expecting somebody to go a full fight get takedowns, maybe land a lot of significant strikes, things of that nature, things that score points.
Yeah. So back to the strategy thing. Sean and I, we're going to start tracking it pretty thoroughly. Each episode, we'll update it. We'll throw it up on the board. We're even going to do some of the in-between pieces, even when we don't do preview shows for some of the smaller cards. I think we're going to end up doing DraftKings for just about every one that we feel at least relatively confident in. And we're going to track that, starting with this one right now. I'm pretty excited to do that. The hard thing is there's just not a lot of strategy in MMA.
MMA math never adds up.
No, in the fantasy draws, like there's not obviously baseball, basketball, football, those go on for days. You can look at boards, pages, whatever. So this is a great opportunity to
you can look at
in.
Is somebody hot on a hot streak, is somebody on a cold streak. It doesn't necessarily translate to MMA.
No. Plus the other thing too is there's so many events, or I guess you should say games for those, is they're back to back to back. So even if you lose one night in NBA, you probably have a baseball game the next 3 days in a row. You know what I mean? So So it's exciting. We're going to build out the strategy again, like I said, and we'll kind of keep you updated on that one and figure it out 1 week at a time. But let's start talking about your picks this week.
All right, what do you want me to work from bottom to top or top to bottom?
I say bottom to top. Let's do bottom to top. And I want to know why you're picking each person.
So my very bottom at $7,400, Frankie Sainz. Excuse me. This is my underdog pick, just kind of what we talked about. A guy I expect to go the full 3 minutes, full 15 minutes. Hopefully he can give me some takedowns, get some significant strikes. I spent a lot of money on my other picks, so this was kind of I don't want to say a throwaway pick, but it was a throwaway pick. A guy that doesn't necessarily get finished a lot. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
It might be one of those 5 beers that you just finished.
No, that can't be it. But actually, I should not have started with him because I have somebody that's lower than him, Robbie Lawler, on my list.
Yeah, but that's a big name, though. I think Frankie's a good place to start.
Yeah,
though,
but money-wise, Robbie is less. He's at $7,200. I feel very confident about this pick. I feel like Robbie's going to be able to stuff takedowns against Ben, and I feel like he's going to be able to finish. He's going to be able to knock Ben out. If you watch Ben striking, it's very elementary. Not very good defense. Mm-hmm. And against a guy like Robbie's a sprawl and brawl. If he can keep the fight standing, he's going to come forward. Tough dude, going to bite down on the mouthpiece. He's going to test that chin.
If nothing else, he should get a lot of significant strikes on that one.
Yeah, I think right from the start, Ben's going to get after it for a takedown. I don't think he's going to want to spend much time on the feet, but I think Robbie keeps it standing long enough to get a knockout.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to your point too. I like those 2 picks. Those are your 2 underdog picks, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. Now to move to my not underdog picks, my favorites, kicking it off at $8,400, Johnny Walker. If you watch our breakdown, you'll know that this dude knocks pretty much everybody the fuck out. Serious power. Again, going against a guy who's got knocked out in 2 of his last 3. Averaging 104 fantasy points per fight.
Wow, that's big.
I know that's only 2 fights, but
yeah, but we talked about in 2 fights he's spent just about 2 minutes in the cage.
Yeah,
in 2 fights.
And
the guy he
knows how to finish a fight.
Yeah, and the guy that he's fighting is coming off of 2 knockout losses. Well, no, I think he won his last one, but he came out
2 of his last 3.
Yeah, 2 of his last 3, which were 2 in a row, were knockout losses to
Glover and Volkan.
That's right.
Yeah, so Johnny Walker over Serkinov for the knockout. Moving on to Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz. I'm picking Cody Garbrandt at $8,500. Munoz takes 5.5, I think, strikes landed per minute. That's what he absorbs.
He did,
That's what he absorbs.
That's
and against
a lot.
A guy like Cody who can knock out anybody at bantamweight, I'll take that every day of the week on DraftKings. So I'm taking Cody there. And moving on to my next, Zabit Magomed at $8,900. Really favorable matchup. He's averaging 123 fantasy points per fight. Let's look how many fights he's had. Sorry, I turned the mouse off because I didn't think I was going to use it. See how many fights he's had in the UFC. He's had 4 fights, so he's had plenty of fight time. He's had 2 fights going to the third round, 2 in the and within 2 rounds. So,
Do you know why I see that?
he had 11 takedowns in 1 fight. So this is a guy, he can score a lot of points. He's never scored under 107. That's his lowest scoring in 4 fights.
Wow.
So this is an aggressive fighter. Jeremy Stephens, he's going to come forward. So he's going to leave a lot of opportunity to get jabbed, get countered, get taken down. So I like Zabit in this fight.
I'd say so.
To score a lot of points. And then my top pick at 9,600, the ultimate favorite of the night in the main event, John Jones. I mean, probably as easy of a pick, in my opinion, on the card. I think he's going to dominate Anthony Smith. He's going to do whatever he wants at any point, whether he wants to work the jab, hit him with some power shots to the body, to the head, or he wants to work in some grappling, take him down. I think he's just going to be able to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree with you. I think that's a really good lineup. It looks like Senez, he's got your lowest amount of points per fight. That's 62.
There wasn't a lot of choices once you picked these other 4. So,
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's some high dollars. 9,600 for Jones. His differentials were ridiculous in this fight. Like, he is a heavy favorite. Actually, I think we forgot to even touch on that because it was such a joke. It was such a joke. I was like, I don't even want to announce that out loud, like what that is. God. Just take it. Oh, wait, I guess you're looking.
Is that a minus 950?
He's a minus 950 to Anthony Smith's
as he
plus
should be.
575. Good God.
And if you have $10 to spend, you might as well throw it on Anthony Smith. What do you have to lose?
Yeah,
if you got $10 you don't care about.
Granted, that's if you're like just throwing straight up money, not on DraftKings. But yeah, that's interesting. Looking at this, what are some of the other? Because how much money does that leave you left with?
0. That's $0. That is actually you spend.
Sorry, I'm looking at. All right, we get
picking my lineup.
And then I want to see if you take Senez out, who you have left. You have Garbrandt, I know. You have Zabit on here. And then and Johnny Walker. So you have Stevens, Smith, Diego Sanchez. Wow, he actually has less points. Senez per fight. Wow, that's pretty tough. Just looking, so if you pick Jones, Lawler, Garbrandt, Zabit, and Walker, which I like those 5 a lot. It does not leave you. It leaves you with
Anthony Smith, who's the lowest rated on the card.
Jeremy Stephens,
which you could easily pick Jeremy Stephens if you're expecting a brawl.
Yeah.
If you're expecting a war, which it very well could be. So I mean, that's not a bad pick to have.
I mean, honestly, Diego Sanchez isn't a bad pick either.
Diego Sanchez is not a bad pick to have. You know, he can turn any fight ugly quick.
Yeah.
And he can land a lot of punches.
Yeah. I would even say it probably wouldn't be bad if you're a person that, like, I like to do this, is I like to pick my absolute favorite card and then I like to spread that one card around. It probably wouldn't even be bad if you went 50-50 on that, split half of your inputs on doing Diego Sanchez on one and Cienez on the other.
Yeah, maybe have a safer card that you maybe put a little bit more money into.
Like a 50-50. If you're doing a 50-50 or anything like a double up where the top half wins.
Right. Then you can put maybe a more risky card for lower money. Maybe just get your money back from what you already betted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It doesn't leave you with much, but I think you're right. I think either Diego Sanchez, which the only thing going against him is his average fights or fantasy points is 56. But, I mean, the guy has been in the UFC for a long time, so I don't know, like, how long they've tracked that back. But, I mean, he's typically a brawler. I mean, he throws a lot of shots.
Yeah.
He can land a ton of significant strikes. So, I don't know. That's pretty interesting to see, but I'm interested. So, what games are you going to be picking? What contests are you looking to jump into for these?
Mostly 50-50s. That's just low risk, low reward.
Yeah. I think that the 50-50s and double ups are all good to do, especially early on. Like, if we're going to start with our $10, right, we can get into a bunch of those.
Yeah, you don't want to burn that all in one contest.
Right, exactly. We can get a bunch of the $1, $2, and $3 contests.
$1, $2, $3 contests against 10 people. So all you have to do is be top 5.
Yeah. But it's not bad to start the safe bet like that, and then once you start getting up towards $100, $200, that's when you can start getting like a little bit more
Yeah, you can start
risky because you can throw away one or two.
You have more to bet.
Yeah, you can throw away one or two. You can still do a bunch of 50-50 and double up to make up that money that you're potentially losing with that one. So I like that for $10. I think that's what we're going to stick with is mostly just double ups. Double ups because most of those it's the top. I think it's the top half in the 50-50s. Yeah. You just win your money back on those. So.
And a couple other guys that I like on this fight card, I like Kamaru Usman if he can survive a 5-round fight. He's averaging 107 points per fight.
Is he really?
Yeah, I mean, you think about this is a guy that gets a lot of takedowns.
That's fair enough.
And
that's
long fights. He has long fights with a lot of takedowns that votes well for points. I don't know if he'll be able to take Tyron down as much.
Definitely not. I don't think he will.
But, it's worth a shot. I don't think he's very expensive. Let me look to see how expensive he is. I believe he's one of the cheaper fighters on the card. I think he's about in the 700 range. Oh, okay. It took me all the way back to the main menu.
I got you right here. So he's at 7,500. That's actually.
Oh, I was gonna pick him, but I was $100 short.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is actually a fantastic pickup if you feel confident with anybody else in here.
If you feel like he can survive long enough to get you points.
You know what's funny is seeing Jones at 9,600. Like you never see that high. You would have been able to pick him even with another favorite. I think in most other events.
What do you mean?
Because you said you were only $100 off. Jones is like one of the highest dollar amounts I've ever seen on the DraftKings at $9,600.
I think I've seen one that was like 10,000 before. I think it was somebody that was a dominant fighter that was getting somebody that was off like a week notice or something one time. It was back when I first started playing DraftKings. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But another guy, Cody Stammen, who lands 4.97 strikes per minute. Who is he fighting again? I can't remember.
Kid Perez.
I believe his opponent takes some shots. I just looked it up too. Let's look here.
Let's take a gander on our unreliable.
He's on the prelims.
That's right. These 135ers. All right. Significant strikes.
Oh, so not necessarily too bad, but even the output, he lands 49%.
That's high output, man. Almost five significant strikes landed per minute as on average.
Take some shots, Again, a guy that if you feel comfortable is going to make it the full 15, he's going to land some shots. So.
Which you can usually do that with the lighter guys too. Is you can almost guarantee that it's going to go. I mean, not guarantee. You can say a lot of the time that the 135ers go the distance, or at least to the third round.
And my other guy that I had as a notable pick, I know we picked Diego, but I have Gall here at 88.6 fantasy points per fight. I don't think he's too expensive.
Probably not. But that's actually, so we got Gall, we got Diego, Stammen.
Gall is, okay, so Mickey Gall's 9,100.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little bit heavy. I thought that was a little bit lower, so I don't know. I think I would more lean toward Diego or somebody else. 9,100 is a little bit high for him right now at 5-1 going against somebody like Diego.
Yeah. So I know you picked Diego, you picked Stammen for kind of like your...
And Usman.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
As your other kind of just like dark horse, like if you need a
Usman's
pick.
An interesting one. Like if he wasn't fighting a guy that could just shut the lights out with one shot, I probably would have had him on my lineup for sure.
Well, you got to think a lot of Usman's points probably come from takedowns, and he's not going to take Tyron down often.
I think this is not
it's not a good matchup.
This is his worst matchup.
Yeah, this is.
In the UFC.
That's the other thing, too, is you also want to look, and before you put your lineup in, you want to see who other people are picking, too, because that can kind of sway your decision.
Yeah, if you're picking a lot of the same people as everybody else, you might have a hard time because one fight will just derail you.
Yeah. If I can tell everybody anything, because we both have won decent amount of money on here. We've always done really well. Is just spending the extra 20-30 minutes to research, like just pick a have some fun, go through
really
the
dig into the early prelims and the prelims.
dig into the fighters, and then also dig into the contest that you're going in. So don't just pick them just because they're $1, $2, because not all are created equal. Look and see who other people are picking. And it's almost kind of like betting on eBay. Do you remember doing that? Like you kind of wait till last minute. Like you let everybody else put their.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like the auctions.
Yeah, you let everybody else put their pick for the auction in, and then last minute that's when you jump in. I think it's got to be kind of like that, but you can't forget, because I've done that like 3 or 4 times easy as I'm like, I wait till last minute.
The last pay-per-view, you're like, I didn't make a DraftKings.
I know. I literally, right when we sat down and the UFC came across the TV, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot to do DraftKings.
Stupid. But yeah, those are my picks for DraftKings. I'm really confident in this card. I'm more confident than the last one. I think I picked a lot of finishers this week. I think the last card I didn't pick as many. I picked a little bit safer. I think this is not necessarily more out there or more risky picks, but a lot of finishers on this card.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you had a lot of risky picks.
I think Robbie
is probably your biggest.
Yeah, Robbie's
risk.
my biggest. Just because Ben gets him down and controls him, he's not going to score anything. That's the risk with him. But he's the cheapest of my picks, 7,200. So he's going to save you some money.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, when you pick someone like Jones, who's such a heavy favorite, at $9,600, that's so much fucking money too. Well, at least when you're picking a 6-man lineup.
And a lot of people probably will pick him because he's the highest favorite on the fight card for a reason. He's a minus 950 for a reason.
Yeah, I'm almost just thinking, I wonder, this is definitely going to be going back to before the fight, because you just want to see what other people are picking. It's hard to say, because the other thing, too, is it can draw a lot of smarter DraftKings, or more, not smarter, but more experienced DraftKings players to stay away from him because he's the higher dollar amount, and maybe go towards a few more favorites on the card.
Yeah, but I don't think MMA draws in a lot of hardcore DraftKings fans.
Yeah, not like the other major sports.
Not like baseball, hockey.
Yeah, because those are every night.
Yeah, because they can dive into those. They make a career out of that. Where MMA, even though we have this long stretch, it can go stale for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, I like that pick too. Should we put something up on social media maybe in the next few days, like do a finalized list, and then maybe some dark horse, like literally just recapping this?
Yeah, why not?
With some stats as well. We'll put that up. Look for that we'll do Twitter, Facebook, and we'll do Instagram as well. So check that out.
Check this out.
Should we do a poll? Do you like any polls?
I don't really have any off the top of my head. You just kind of thrusted this upon me.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm just like sitting here thinking we're getting exhausted. It's like late, so it's late after a long day, but
we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining in. If you haven't checked out our UFC 235 preview show, check it out. As well, always tune in to our DraftKings. Look out on social media for a recap from today's episode. We'll put it down in writing. And otherwise,
we'll see you Sunday.
We'll see you Sunday. Enjoy the event. Peace.